So we end this October with pretty low-budget garbage, I gotta say. It's like the more these movies go on, the progressively worse they look. But the question is, can it be better or worse in terms of quality compared to what we looked at last time with Yoga Hosers?
What's this? Cartoons?
It's not cartoons, it's Terratoons.
Well, it kind of looks like cartoons to me.
In a world where the line between reality and nightmare has been crossed.
Who are they?
I have no idea.
Terror has a new face.
Candy and Cindy are left home alone and are sent a DVD from the devil. Candy accidentally releases two crazed cartoon characters that slaughter all their friends. And that's it. Yeah. Appropriately so, 3.1 out of 10 on IMDb and 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what's sad? That has a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes than Yoga Hosers. So I referenced this movie a long time ago. I think about a year or two ago, I did a review of a very similar movie called Evil Toons. And that was a Fred Olen Ray, Roger Corman production. You know, a lot of their usual suspects, like the late great Dick Miller was in it. And a bunch of porn stars were in it as well, which typical casting for a Fred Olen Ray movie. But I briefly mentioned this one at the end of that, and then, I finally found a copy of it so I could talk about it for this video. This is sort of a weird reoccurring thing for Blockbusters show. We've looked at plenty of movies that have tried doing the whole Roger Rabbit thing, where it's like animated characters interacting with humans, usually darker in tone. But it's like Roger Rabbit is the gold standard, and then the more you go down, the not only progressively worse they get in terms of like the quality of the writing and the story, but even in the production. I mean, below Roger Rabbit, then you get Cool World, which looked like a real movie, had big name actors in it, but it wasn't as good as Roger Rabbit. And then below that, Monkey Bone, and then below that was Evil Toons, and then below that is Terror Toons. Because this one is easily the worst looking of the bunch. I mean, it's clearly shot on video, made with like zero budget. But don't ask where Space Jam and that Chip and Dale movie fit into that power scale. I don't really know at the moment. And believe me, I have very strong opinions on both those movies anyway. But this one is very similar to Evil Toons in that, both of them seem to have porn stars going by IMDb's cast listing. And they're both clearly trying to do the whole, what if Roger Rabbit was a horror movie and cartoons came into the real world and started killing people? And even though Evil Toons had animation in the movie for like 5 minutes, at least it actually had real animation. This, on the other hand, has people in costumes which look like total ass. So right off the bat, the movie is from some production company that I never heard of until now, but I went through their Wikipedia page and it seems like they have some absolute winners in terms of some of their movies. It's called like Brain Dead Productions or Brain Dead Films, something like that. And going by the trailers for some of the movies that I was able to find, it's very apparent that this is trying to be like a Trauma type company where they specialize in making low budget trash and there's lots of overacting and mugging and, it's just crude for the sake of being crude. And I already talked about Trauma before with Poultrygeist, and I said that I liked the movie. And I stand by my position that Trauma, yes, their movies are incredibly low budget, they're incredibly crass, they're incredibly lowbrow, they're incredibly offensive, but that was sort of the charm of them. That's sort of what they were built upon. They were meant to be that way. But, I mean, even in the realms of Trauma's standards, this is very clearly like, we're just trying so desperately to be the next Trauma films. And you know what? If you can make the movies entertaining, I can look past that. But, let's talk about Terror Toons and let's see how that fares up. Right away, the movie begins on blue screen and it was making me think of The Amazing Bulk, and part of me was worried that the entire movie was going to be like that, but it's not. The movie begins in the cartoon dimension, and, you'll see right away they don't even animate anything because they couldn't really animate. And even when there is animation in the movie, it usually just shows PNGs that cut between the same 2 frames over and over again. It's the same kind of quality of animation as like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. It's so like it's like those old YouTube videos where there's like MS Paint pictures, jumping back and forth between the same frame of like a person's mouth going up and down or something. So in the cartoon dimension, we see, I'm assuming what's supposed to be a little boy, but it's clearly a 40-year-old man with one of those like propeller hats on, strapped to a table, being experimented on by one of the movie's two main villains, Dr. Carnage, who's just this mad scientist cartoon character with a witch mask on or something. And he tortures and kills this guy by ripping his entrails out, and he also uses this laser beam on him, which just slides in like a PNG. This sets the stage perfectly for what to expect in the rest of the movie, so yeah, be warned. But yeah, the first few minutes just show this Terror Toons cartoon dimension, and it's all on green screen or blue screen. And well, the animation they have is just, like I said, it's like in Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, where they take two still images and then like flip back and forth between them. It's like they watched Terry Gilliam animations on Monty Python and they're like, oh, we can do that. And they put it into Windows Movie Maker and just flip back and forth between the two. To be fair, it does have some better production quality than some of the videos on this channel. But anyway, Dr. Carnage goes on a killing spree with his latest creation. He takes a monkey and he genetically alters it to be this evil purple gorilla that goes around helping him kill people, called like Max.
Dr. Carnage transformed the hapless monkey into a ruthless killing machine. He called his creation Max Assassin.
They run around, going around killing people. There's like a cartoon cop at one point who comes into play later in the movie. But
stop in the name of the law!
The opening credits, the music in it sounds like knockoff Beetlejuice music. But then we zoom out to the real world where we see the only bit of nudity in the movie compared to Evil Toons, where there was considerable amounts of nudity. And I can easily see people saying, well, yeah, the movie's not very good, but like there's some titties in it, right? This movie only has that for this one scene, and it's this opening bit where one of the main girls, Candy, is getting out of a bubble bath. She, along with, I believe, her sister and a couple of other actors in the movie, are porn stars. So, yeah, the acting is going to be just absolute fucking Daniel Day-Lewis quality here.
Mom, are you leaving yet? Mom!
And that scene's really creepy just based on the fact that this is supposed to be a little girl, and the first scene you see is her in a bubble bath. That's like 7 layers of wrong. So anyway, yeah, Candy is this little girl played by like a 30-year-old woman, and her sister is about the same age range, but she's supposed to be like a teenager. It's now a fucking 80s slasher movie apparently, because her and her friends are clearly in their like 30s, but they're supposed to be like teenage high school students, I guess. But the parents of the house are going to be stepping out to go to a friend's wedding.
Now, I already told your sister, now I'm telling you, no friends over. That goes the same for both of you. You hear me?
Yes, Mom.
Cindy calls up one of her best friends, and in turn, the two of them call up their boyfriends to come over and have a party. Meanwhile, in the mail, Candy gets another DVD for Terror Toons, even though she was watching it on TV, but this is supposed to jumpstart the plot to the movie. She gets the DVD in the mail, and her older sister and her friend make fun of her for watching cartoons.
What's this? Cartoons? Aren't you kind of old to be watching cartoons?
It's not cartoons, it's Terror Toons.
Well, it kind of looks like cartoons to me.
So she goes up to her room to watch Terror Toons on DVD, and meanwhile, while they're having their teenage party, which mostly consists of people just sitting around on the couch or on the floor drinking. Absolutely stellar house party you got there, bro. What the hell is up with the shit that's in this house? It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like some of the shit on the walls, like they have like these weird looking clocks and weird photography and weird paintings and stuff. The entire thing just made me think, like, if you're gonna do a movie where cartoons invade the real world and start killing people, you want the cartoon world to be chaotic and insane, and the real world is relatively normal. I mean, that's one of the things that Cool World actually got right. especially compared to this movie. The real world was, for the most part, normal, and then the weird cartoony shit was, locked away in cool world. But here it just feels like insanity meets insanity. There's no healthy medium. And that especially shows with the overacting from everybody. I mean, these aren't great actors to begin with. I mean, the boyfriends look like, I don't know, they were like cousins or friends of the director. They also look like they're just peak 2002. I mean, like, one guy has like the boy band frosted tips and the puka necklace. And, well, just like with the porn stars acting, absolute stellar stuff. Hashtag Oscar worthy from these people.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing?
Nothing. Just working out with my friend Eddie.
Who is it? Ooh, I love when a man takes care of himself.
Well, I try.
The plot finally starts to get in motion up in Candy's room because as she's watching the DVD of Terror Toons, Dr. Carnage and Max jump out of the cartoon world, and by that I mean they turn into PNGs and spin around while a spiral plays behind them. So they end up in the real world and they kill Candy by ripping out her spinal cord like it's Mortal Kombat. And the entire time I was thinking, well, shit, I thought she was going to be the main character, but apparently I was wrong, so yeah, it threw me for a loop. Back with the teens, the 30-year-old teens, they decide to play a game of strip Ouija because the boys want to play strip poker and the girls want to play with a Ouija board. So they pull out a Ouija board, which, my favorite thing, they use like gaff tape to put over the Ouija logo, because I didn't even realize this until Red Letter Media brought it up in a video, but like apparently Ouija is trademarked by some board game company like Milton Bradley or Hasbro or something. So yeah, whenever you see in movies, unless they have the official licensing for it, they have to like put they have to cover it, or they have to like make up a fake name for it. They call in a pizza from a place called Shanghai Pizza, and they have to play the stereotypical dun 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 music, and a gong sound effect plays too. At least they had an actual Asian person delivering the pizza. Though I don't know if that makes that better or worse. Again, we gotta remember, Troma Films inspired this company, so that explains that. But before the pizza gets there, Candy's boyfriend, yeah, this little 30-year-old little girl is supposed to have a boyfriend, but it's, again, just like some 30-year-old guy with like unbuttoned flannel shirt and backwards cap is just like, hey, I'm here to see my girlfriend. He shows up and then he gets killed by the two cartoon characters because they take giant plastic scissors and cut his head off. Before they do, there's a scene a little bit before that where he sees Candy watching the TV and they put like, with marker, they put like 2 lines on her mouth and they like, again, animates. They do like that ventriloquist Monty Python thing where the mouth flaps up and down because she's being like puppeted by Dr. Carnage. And then that's when they kill the boyfriend. And then the pizza delivery guy shows up, and this part made me laugh, but not for the reasons they intended, because the pizza delivery guy shows up and Dr. Carnage answers the door, and he just like takes the whole pizza and just rams it into his mouth like he's trying to eat the whole pizza at once, because he's a cartoon character and he can do whatever he wants, even in the real world, I guess. But it's just so funny because there's just giant chunks of pizza falling onto the floor. It just made me think the director was like, we got one take of this, we're not ordering another pizza for this fucking scene, you better do it right, and if it falls on the floor, I don't give a fuck. But then the cartoons show up, there's a 2-minute dance sequence where they're just dancing awkwardly, and I can only imagine they were having fun on set. It's just like, oh yeah, you guys just do wacky dances, and we'll put funny disco music over it. So they kill off one of the boyfriends by having him laugh to death. Like, he just laughs uncontrollably at their dancing, and then he just starts puking up, like, bile or, like, fake organs or something. The point is, he dies laughing. Hey! would like to assume that was an intentional reference to Roger Rabbit, but part of me feels like it wasn't.
Hey, Daddy, keep it up! You're killing him! You're slaying him! You're knocking him dead!
But going along with that, all throughout the movie, they have the cartoons using like stock cartoon sound effects they got from some stock cartoon sound effect disc or program or whatever. It's the most like, you know, the cuckoo cuckoo boing, like knockoff Hanna-Barbera sound effects. It's really, really irritating after a while. Two remaining girls and the one remaining guy try to flee the house, but whenever they open a door, there's like a giant cartoon swirling vortex outside. So it seems like they can't leave. And, well, one of the boyfriends, I guess because it's a spiral or something, he ends up getting hypnotized. He ends up like passing out, and he also throws up. I would love to imagine that that wasn't in the script and he actually did get him drunk and he just threw up and they left it in anyway. So the girls go running around for a bit. The boyfriend ends up getting taken to, I don't know, the basement or something, some kind of torture dungeon room where Dr. Carnage and his gorilla friend, they crack open his head like it's Hannibal and they tickle his brain and make him laugh, and then it just cuts to the next scene. I don't know what the point of that was. They also established earlier they try to call the police, but the phone lines aren't working. We can only assume that they like cut them, or maybe the cartoon dimension isn't interfering or something. It's the cliche horror movie rule of course the phones don't work. But the cop from the Terror Toons dimension ends up coming into the real world, and he says that he's going to take care of those guys. He's going to stop them. And then we get some cartoony antics as he chases after them, and then they distract the cop with a donut box. He opens it up. He starts eating a donut that has a fake TNT stick in it, and then he explodes, which is surprisingly one of the worst looking effects, and that's saying something considering how the rest of the movie looks. But this cartoon explosion, I guess, separates Cindy and her friend, because then they're just in different parts of the house and they both end up getting taken captive. So then Cindy ends up waking up in the torture dungeon next to her boyfriend, who's basically lobotomized at that point. Like he's just like not acting or thinking clearly. And, well, they end up taking her friend, putting her into a magician's box, you know, like, oh, we're going to saw her in half. But they actually do, because they saw her in half, they lift it up, and she is split in half, and there's blood all over the saw. And the entire time this whole magician scene was playing out, there were two things that crossed my mind. One, this guy's a mad scientist, so wouldn't it make more sense? They probably couldn't get actual costumes, but like, you should have had like an evil magician character who comes out and do this, not the mad scientist. The mad scientist doing the thing where he pokes the brain, that makes sense. Having him do a magic act just felt like, well, shit, we can't afford more costumes because this movie has the budget of a ham sandwich, so we can't spend too much on it. And the other thing I was thinking was, well, shit, I can't believe you're actually making me think it was more impressive them sawing someone in half in the 2019 Banana Splits movie, but apparently it did. That's honestly kind of sad when you unironically make the Banana Splits horror movie look better in comparison. And she ends up in hell, which is again on green screen or blue screen, and I'll give them this, makeup effects, they actually have a guy in makeup instead of a shitty Halloween mask playing the devil, and he's just sitting in like a lounge chair like over a green screen of like, you know, a hellish fire background.
Who are you?
Who am I? Who do you think, darling?
A devil?
The devil, thank you.
The entire time this whole hell sequence was playing out, and the fact that there's a gorilla in the movie, and also the fact that it was made in 2002, and with as low budget as it is, I was just thinking, man, I wish I was watching Gorilla Interrupted right now, because that movie's awesome. That movie has fucking Rich Evans in it.
Silence! Holy shit! Monkey Man's gonna fight Satan!
But anyway, the devil tells Cindy that he plans to redistribute these Terratoons DVDs, because apparently he's the one that makes them. You know, they come from hell. And he wants to distribute them all around the world so that way he can unleash evil cartoons to kill people in the world of the living. Just go with it. But since she's in the cartoon dimension, she can do whatever she wants, because that's a rule they just established 3 seconds ago. So she turns into a superhero version of herself, and she looks like, she kind of looks like the girl Stephanie from Lazy Town, because she has like that pink bob wig on.
I want to be a superhero. And kick your ass!
But Cindy goes back to the real world. She finds the printing machine that the devil is using to make all these Terratoons DVDs, and she destroys it with a crowbar. And then she kills both the cartoon characters. She fights the gorilla and then knocks him to the floor and then stomps on his head where it's supposed to be his brains spill out, but it looks like ground beef they got at a grocery store. And she fights Dr. Carnage, and he pulls out a giant cartoon axe. This is honestly like the part of the movie where they started utilizing all the cartoony stuff, and it's the fucking climax of the movie. Like, you know, if you're gonna do this kind of thing, you should have it like the cartoon characters are pulling out like giant wacky mallets or something. There's a part earlier where the gorilla pulls out a Tommy gun. She ends up killing him by, he pulls out a giant axe, she pushes it back into his head, and then she grabs it from him and then splits his head in two, and it just looks like they were done with the mask, so then they just ripped it in half, and then like light explodes out from it. So the movie ends with the parents coming home, and what I thought they were going to do, again, the movie subverted expectations on this factor. I was expecting it that they came home and like, none of it happened. Everyone's okay. Was it a dream? That kind of thing. But no, they come home, the house is a wreck, the boyfriend is slamming his head against the wall. And then they come across Cindy holding Candy's remains, and then she starts insanely laughing while the parents are like, oh my gosh. So I guess at that point we're led to believe that Cindy just went insane and she murdered her friends and her sister. But then you get a cliffhanger ending where we pan over to the neighbor who is a little boy, the only like real little kid in the movie. But this little boy comes out, he picks up a Terratoons DVD in the mail, and he's like, wow! And they have, again, the terrible Snapchat filter effects on his face. Here's the part where I'd laugh and go, haha, could you imagine if they made another Terratoons? But I did some sleuthing, and apparently there are several of these. Yeah, apparently there was a 5th one that came out earlier this year. There are 5 Terratoons movies. And I don't feel like reviewing any more of them because I feel like one is enough, thank you. So final thoughts. This is low-budget garbage. This is definitely shot on video trash. The acting is terrible, the effects are terrible, there's constant wink wink nudge nudge, look, we're making a bad movie, mugging, and I've said plenty of times that those kind of movies kind of annoy me. I mean, when you make a movie that's so bad it's funny, that's what makes it enjoyable. But this is just like, alright, yeah, they know they're making a bad movie, that, like I said earlier, they're clearly trying to do a trauma thing where, you know, it's intentionally bad. And some of it's entertaining just based on the fact that it's so low budget. Like I said, the funniest thing in the movie was the guy in the mask trying to eat the pizza and then giant chunks of pizza just falling onto the floor. That was the hardest I laughed in the movie. And I don't even think it was intentional. Same thing with the guy throwing up. Like, I don't think that was in the script, or maybe it was, but it makes it 10 times funnier to imagine that it wasn't. The entire time I was watching this movie, I just kept thinking, man, I wish an actual big budget studio made a movie like this. You know, it's like, imagine if like a Universal or a Warner Brothers decided to make a movie where the premise was evil cartoon characters that come out into the real world and start killing people. I mean, the closest thing we got was Evil Toons, and before that was Cool World. And Cool World was originally going to be a straightforward horror movie with that premise or something similar to it, but then that got whittled down till it's like PG-13. It was barely a horror movie, and then you get to Evil Toons, which the cartoon in the real world was only 5 minutes. So I just kept thinking, like, man, could you imagine if, like, Meat Canyon or somebody like took this premise and made like a full hour-and-a-half movie with that premise? Because considering some of his videos where there's like animation interacting with live action actors, it's like, I really think that you could do this as a movie. It just needs to be in the hands of the right people, and it definitely needs more budget to work with, because you look at Evil Toons, 5 minutes of animation in the whole movie, and this just people in costumes. So yeah, hopefully at some point we can get this idea done well in some capacity. But yeah, compared to other low-budget trash, I mean, it fits right in there with like Prehistoric Bimbos and Armageddon City, which I'm honestly kind of surprised wasn't from the same studio. I seriously thought it was for a second, but apparently it's not. And Crazy Fat Ethel 2 and all that kind of stuff. It's just super low-budget trash. But to answer the question that I established last time, is it better or worse than Yoga Hosers? And you know what? I'm going to say I actually like this better than Yoga Hosers. Because here's the thing, that movie also had the feeling of, oh, we're trying to make a so bad it's good movie, oh, we're just making low-budget trash to make ourselves laugh, and if someone else finds it fun, then good for us, and if people hate it, well, fuck movie critics, I'm Kevin Smith. But this movie, honestly, because of how low-budget it is, I got more solid laughs out of it than Yoga Hosers, which I don't think I laughed once. So yeah, I feel like this movie, if you're going to watch a So Bad It's Good movie for October, definitely watch this instead. If you can even find a copy of it. I don't know how difficult it is to find that, but yeah, I'd honestly recommend watching this bad movie over watching Yoga Hosers, because this was way more entertainingly bad. Not that it's a great So Bad It's Good movie. I feel like Amazing Bulk was better. And even like Birdemic. Birdemic, you could tell they were trying to make a real movie and failed, and that's what makes that movie funny. Here, it's trying so hard to be like the next Trauma, and as someone who, doesn't love Trauma movies, but does find some of them entertaining, this one is just like, yeah, they're trying a little too hard. Oh, we got porn stars to be in the movie, and oh, we called up all of our friends, we got these wacky costumes, and I don't know, it's not my thing. But compared to Yoga Hosers, I will certainly watch Terror Toons 5 times in comparison to watching that ever again. So that being said, I still think the best movie we talked about for October this year has to be Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was easily the best one of these. The rest of them, not very good, but what you gonna do? As is par for the course for Blockbusters show, I guess. You do 3 videos out of the month, and hopefully one of the movies you watch is at least somewhat good, or at least so bad it's funny. So that does it for Blockbusters in October this year, guys. Look forward to next month, where we're going to be doing 3 or 4 new videos. I have a movie marathon in the works. I have a crappy sci-fi movie from Netflix that I want to talk about. I'm finally going to talk about the Spy Family movie. I intended to talk about that movie in my review of the show, but I was already talking so much about the show, so I figured I might as well do the movie as its own separate video. And, most excitingly, we're going to be talking about K-pop Demon Hunters, because that's actually going to get a limited theatrical run in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and doing a video on it. But until then, guys, I'm Am Sykes of the Blockbusters Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.